Well, hello, carnivores. How are you doing today? I hope everyone's having a great day. Katie is just getting in from picking up our son from school, so she's almost ready to be here. It's one of those things, we have a very full life with picking up kids from school and doing the work. I've been working on videos all day, trying to get things ready, and man, editing takes a long time if you want to do it right. So I just want to thank you guys for being here. Let me see how many folks we got in here right now. I need my moderator. Sandy's here, so I know she's going to help me out, right, Sandy? It's good to see you, sweetheart. Chad Glaze is here. Oh yeah. Let's see. I think this is Rhett that comes in under Carnivore Brothers, but of course Ashley and Rhett are the two Carnivore Brothers. And is it Ashley? I'm not sure. I can't remember which one comes in on this particular YouTube description. Maybe both. It could be either one of them for all I know. Kooky Carnivore is here from Maryland. Boy, anybody that could be me. They could Crazy Carnivore could probably be a good name. Seems like every time I hear my name referred to, especially when Carrie talks about it, he says that crazy guy Dante got me started on this stuff. Oh, thank you, Sandy. I appreciate that. How you doing, Mary? Good to see you. Before we get started, let's try to remember this is a question and answer type of session. So we would really welcome your questions. If you would start them off with like 3 Qs at the beginning, that lets me know that you have a question that we can get to. And of course, if you do a super chat, we're going to move you right to the front of the line. And those super chats do really help to cover the cost of some of the time that we spend doing this. So we really appreciate that as well. And just in case, I'm going to see if I can bring up some questions from previous um, commenters here. Let's see here. Meanwhile, how's everyone doing this evening? Tina Pope is here from Arizona. Kathy is here, the Kingdom Way Keto Carnivore. Good to see you, Kathy. A lot of you people might have got a chance to see the video where Kathy interviewed with me and talked about her journey on carnivore. She's been doing it almost 5 years now, and she's doing wonderful. Jiffy is here. Good to see you. Let's see. Let me bring up the studio and bring up some questions just in case we have any. Oh, wow. I didn't even notice this. We have gone over 77,000 subscribers in just the past few days. I didn't even notice that. That is, I can't tell you guys what an honor it is to be able to have so many people that subscribe and tune in and find out this information and share it. It has just been wonderful having this way of eating not only changed my life, but changed so many other people's lives. Katie's getting a little steak in. Let me see if I can get you mic'd up here while you're doing it.
I'm chewing.
Okay, well, you do your chewing. Let's see, community. Yes, here we go. Let's find anything with questions. Yeah, I know, man. It's insane. I can't believe what this is going on. Sandy says, hi, pretty Katie.
Hello.
Melissa B is here. We appreciate you being here, Melissa. Oh, here's an interesting one right off the bat. I'm not sure what the numbers mean. From vegan to carnivore and down 30 pounds at 1.5 months, but I hit a wall. Blood glucose is lower, pre-diabetic around 100. Well, I don't know that your blood glucose is going to give you an indication of being pre-diabetic. It's your A1C that's the more important marker, but hopefully you're turning that around now that you're getting started, because that is one thing we keep seeing over and over is people are able to reverse diabetes, to be able to put their pre-diabetes into remission and get rid of it, and that was just something that didn't happen. I never heard of that happening. When I was the administrator in a retirement home, It was just, this is it. This is your life. Now you got to take medicine all your life. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, how's your week been, hun?
Good. I'm tired, but good.
How's your carnivore diet been going? What you on, 3 months now or 2.5 months?
Yeah, my favorite thing above anything else to eat when I'm really, really hungry is coming home and making about 6 scrambled eggs with lots of salt and butter. It's really, really good. That's been my favorite. And I saw Emma make those egg muffins with the meat inside of them. Did you see that video?
No, I didn't.
Emma made these egg muffins with meat in them. I'm going to make some of those. Definitely, because that's a nice thing to grab and go. So you make them the night before and you have them for the day, just like your purse bacon, just my little lunch box. Fill that up and go.
Let's see, here's one question we had about 8 hours ago that was watching an older video that I had, one of my shorts. Sunflower EC3EH asked, I don't know how to integrate into my workspace. I don't want to heat it up in the microwave because of the vitamins. Any tips? Thanks. That would be a good one for anybody to answer. I know microwave is about the only option for most anybody. When I've been traveling before, though, where I've even had situations where I've left meat, I use a glass container, those Pyrex containers, and I'll just leave it up in the dash of my car. If it's hot enough outside, it'll reheat it too or keep it warm. But, cold steak, I don't have a problem with that either. I know Katie has done a lot of cold steak.
Mm-hmm. Hard-boiled eggs. I eat a lot of hard-boiled eggs. And bacon still tastes good, even if it's not heated up. It still tastes really good.
Yeah, I know Katie, like hard-boiled eggs and bacon is like her purse go-to to bring, even though her purse doesn't hold them, she just carries them. That's what a lot of people call them, their purse bacon or their purse eggs. So that's one option for people. What do you say you spend in a week on for YouTube, and how do you budget it? I'm telling you right now, it is literally just the grace of God every time we're able to go to the store and buy what we need. So it's not much budgeting involved. It's more of just doing my best to make it happen. And then when the sales come up, that's what I look for. I try to find the best deal I can. Let's see, who was this comment by? Clinton Turner 5717. That was about 4 days ago. But I will say this. When it comes to the cost of food, one of the things I noticed when I first went carnivore was that we still had a lot of food that the kids were eating and Katie was eating, like the old style. You remember, if you saw the very beginning of my first video, 125 days on Lion Diet, you noticed our countertop was literally covered with carbohydrates and things that were definitely not leading us in the right direction. Some of them were labeled as health food or healthy choices, but one of the things we've noticed is that almost all of that stuff, really all of that stuff, if it says it's a health option or a keto option or an Atkins option or some other company that's branding a diet and putting it in a box and making it something for you to eat, especially the ones that look like candy and all of that stuff, but even the other ones, they're mostly just another product like anything else on the shelf, and they're not doing you any good because they have different forms of ways of getting the sugar to show that it's lower. I forget what the name of it was, like maltate or something like that. They'll use those different types of things that are sugar alcohols, but there's no proof that those things don't affect your blood sugar the same way. And there's also no proof that they don't cause you to have insulin production, because you're getting that sweet flavor. But when it comes to keeping the budget down, one of the things I noticed with our old food is we used to throw a lot of food away. Katie would make food that would have lasagna or, you know, vegetables or whatever, and we put those in the refrigerator, but nobody ever gets around to reheating them. Nobody wants that reheated stuff. Uh, I don't mind reheating a steak. I'll tell you that right now. No steak goes to waste, and that's one way that helps with budgeting. Another thing that helps with the cost is the little things that you don't wind up spending money on. Every time I used to stop to get gas, it was including a bag of chips and a Coke or something else that they sell there, you know, maybe a hot dog or the slice of pizza. And all of that stuff is way overpriced, especially at a convenience store. And when you add those things up, they really get expensive. And I've seen recently, I went by one of the McDonald's or somewhere, I think it was Burger King, and the prices on the meals that you get there, it's the cost of a steak, especially if you can get a steak that's on a good price, you know. And I always try to look for the specials. But I mean, you could spend the same money eating a value meal that you would drinking water and having a good steak. It's just you got to take the time to make it yourself. But that's part of taking control of your health too. You know, if you don't want to be trusting in some doctor who is not really concerned about getting you healthy, they're just concerned about managing your medications and managing your illness so they can keep you coming back, you're not going to get healthy. So a big part of this is taking control of your own life and saying, I got to make these different changes. It's hard to make those changes. It was hard for us to make those changes because, you know, we work a lot and we got kids and life is full, especially with teenagers, having to drag them around all over the place. My oldest son's girlfriend lives halfway across the state. So whenever he wants to go, sometimes Katie will drive over there because her family lives over there. So we're always on the go, but yet we find the time to make the food that's going to be healthier for us. And it's also a blessing to see that the children are making a better effort at eating better food. Instead of getting something that they can reheat out of a box, they're eating more chicken, they're eating more pork, and they're eating pot roasts, and we give them steak as well, and burger bowls, and lots of eggs lately. So, and looking for the best price is something I'm always watching out for. Aldi has good prices on pasture raised eggs. The best prices I've seen lately has been Sam's Club. Been getting 18 pack of pasture raised eggs for right at $6. So that's quite reasonable considering your standard store bought eggs, even at Aldi, are still running around $4 for a dozen. So that's pretty darn close to the same price, and you can get pasture raised eggs. But you've got to really look for those deals when they come out. All right, let's see here. Questions.
Scrambled eggs, yes. That is definitely my favorite right now.
Make sure I didn't miss anything here.
I'll make about 7.
Jeff Schallmeyer's here. Good to see you, brother, as always, from Dubuque, Iowa. Carnivore Brothers loves the scrambled eggs with butter. Game changer, so quick and easy. Use Maldon salt over the top. Yeah, Maldon salt is great. You know, I love my Redmond salt, so that's my go-to. But I wouldn't mind getting some Maldon salt when I'm cooking out on the Schwenk grill, because one of the things I found out is that when you cook meat with salt on it at really high heats, it can burn the salt and it causes, I don't know what the issue is, but I remember Dr. Baker talking about it, that it's not good. It's not good to overcook it with the salt on it. So if you cook the steak without the salt already on it, and you could use something like Maldon salt, which is a real flaky type of salt, it just goes on really good. So that's fantastic. Let's see. Kathy has a question. What are your thoughts on seltzer water? No sweetener. I love seltzer water. I don't usually get the seltzer. I usually get the club soda, but if they're out of seltzer water, if they're out of club soda, sometimes I'll get seltzer water. I like the club soda because it does have a little bit of potassium carbonate in it, and it has sodium. I don't have the ingredients on here right now, but the ingredients aren't bad. So that's the other thing. And there's no sweetener. The only sweetener I have is Soleil water that I add. So good. I never would have thought I would say that about water or club soda. That's for sure. Being a carb addict. Let's see. Vinman says for 2 months, whether fasting, high protein, 0% carb, grass-fed, pasture-raised, or high-fat, my weight won't budge. Could it be sleep? Well, it could be sleep, but it could also be stress. And stress is going to affect your sleep too. So if you're not getting enough sleep, it may be related to stress. Stress causes you to have cortisol build up, and cortisol is going to cause you to gain weight. And if you're not gaining any, then you're not losing any, probably because it's making that battle. And I can definitely attest to the effects of stress on the diet.
There's also a plateau some people hit. We had a discussion with another lady who was concerned that her weight wasn't budging. It just stalled out. And she was very strict carnivore, very strict for weeks, wasn't it? Like, cause she even like cut out a lot of, like, I talk about Amy. Sorry, Amy, for there, if you don't mind me saying it. She was very particular, but I remember Dante going through this diet very early on. I can't remember what month it was, maybe the 4th, 5th, or 6th month in. He just stopped losing weight, but he knew he had more to go. And so that's when he started the intermittent fasting, and that's when he started exercising more. And it wouldn't budge. I don't remember how long it took, but your plateau was hit, and then your body had to adjust to your new intake, and then you started to drop again. But I don't remember how long that plateau lasted for. I can't remember.
I remember one lasting about a month, maybe about 4 months in, and it was a little frustrating, but initially I wasn't tracking my weight, and I think that's probably the best part, is not even to think about what your weight looks like, because the scale can really lie to you. I don't have the graphic up where I can show you, but for about 6 months now, just so I could see what it looks like on a regular basis, almost daily, I've been weighing myself just to see. And it fluctuates between a 10-pound range. I mean, one week it could be up here, the next week it's down here. And, a lot of times it's stress related. I think that brings it back up. But the bottom line is it could also be the amount of food that you have digesting, the amount of water you're holding, the amount of water you drank, what time of day you're weighing yourself. If you're weighing yourself at the same time, it's usually in the morning when you fasted, or whenever you fasted the longest is probably the best time, so that you can get the most accurate weight. But the best thing to do is to do your measurements, because I think you were talking about how the scale didn't really move a whole lot, but you've noticed a difference in the way your body feels and the way your body looks.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
The measurements would be nice, but it's just one of those things that she hasn't fit into her schedule yet. We got to go get some of them. What was that? Cloth measuring tape or something like that, so that you can do that. Kind of hard to do it with my metal tools.
I'm not particular about it, because I know I'm exercising, and I know I'm even if I do lose fat, I know I'm gaining muscle because I'm exercising 3 to 4 times a week. So I just don't care. I don't care if I lose 5 pounds. Women also fluctuate 10 pounds. We're especially once a month, we will fluctuate because we can retain a lot of water and fluids. I just don't care. I want to feel good. If I'm feeling good, I know that I'm doing good and I'm healthier. It's when I don't feel good that I get concerned. So as long as I feel good, I have energy, I feel strong, I'm happy, because everybody's different.
Yeah, that's the key, is feeling better and healing and getting your body stronger and being able to do things. I mean, when I started this way of eating, I couldn't even get down into a squatting position where if my hips were below my knees, I needed help getting back up. And now I can get down into almost completely into an Asian squat. I can't quite get down there yet, but I can get down to where I'm down there and my heels are a little bit off the ground, and then stand right back up. That was at 48 that I couldn't do that, and now I'm 52. So those are the things that you really want to focus on. How healthy you want to be as you're getting older. Do you want to be able to pick up your grandchildren when you're in your 70s, or however young you are? Some folks have grandchildren much earlier than that. But if you want to be able to do those things, if you want to be able to move around when you're older, then eating this way is going to have a big effect on that, getting that weight off of your body, getting that mitochondria healthy again, because you're getting all that processed garbage out of your body. You're getting all that those seed oils out. And the seed oils, oh my gosh, those are probably the very worst thing that we eat on a regular basis, even when you don't know it, because every restaurant is using some kind of seed oil to grease the grill with, or they're cooking the food in the seed oil. And I've even had them tell me that they don't use any oils, but they don't think about the fact that they're spraying it on the grill. They'll use that Vegeline or something like that, or Pam, and they'll spray it on the grill. They're like, no, we're not putting any seed oils on the steak, because they're not trained to know what carnivores need. They're not trained to know what somebody who's on lion diet is looking for. I know this from working in restaurants recently, and these are high-end restaurants that should know, and they only focus on three things: vegan, vegetarian, and gluten-free. Those are the only things they're trained on. Those are the only thing they really care about. There are a handful of restaurants where people are taking it more seriously, but the general, like large company chains and things like that, they're not training anybody on how to deal with carnivore. And that's going to come with time. That's going to come with more people waking up to it. That's why I was so excited to see RFK Jr. mention carnivore diet on national television when he was talking to the governor of West Virginia, because that might be the first time a lot of people even heard about it. And hopefully that he'll keep talking about that, because I think there's so many people out there that really have no idea about it at all. Nancy said she made the mistake of trying Topo Chico. Regular water doesn't come close. I can understand. That's one of the reasons why I still do club soda. I do use a water bottle that I buy from the store because I'll drink the Voss, but this is way too expensive for me to drink on a regular basis. These are like $3.99 a bottle. It makes no sense to me to pay that much for a bottle of water. I don't care if it came from Norway's greatest spring, which is what they say it does. But I like to reuse them because they're glass, and I like to drink from glass instead of plastic. And when you're putting salt in there too, you don't want to be using certain things like stainless steel or plastic, because it can leach into it, or the plastic can leach into it easier. So I like to use glass. But yeah, I love my bubbles. It's been hard to get rid of that. Joshua, you're welcome. We're so honored to be able to have you guys come and join us, to have so many people come and listen to us talk about this. It's good. And it's also good if you can invite your friends, because if you've got friends and family that have been thinking about doing this way of eating, we welcome their questions. We welcome anything that they want to argue with us about it. If they want to say, what about your cholesterol? What about this? What about that? I'm glad to answer those questions, because my health numbers are better than they ever have been. And that's even with the standards that are normal. I know some carnivores have a very high LDL because they're lean mass hyper responders, and that can be scary for people. So you got somebody that comes in with an LDL of 300, 400, even 500, and they think, oh my God, I'm going to die. But their HDL is in the 70s or 80s. Their triglycerides are down under 50, which is real low. You don't even have to be that low. When I checked mine, one of the lowest readings I ever had on my triglycerides was 32. My doctor said I've never seen a man with triglycerides at 32. And even though it was technically low on the scale, she said that's just low for the norm. That doesn't mean that you need to get more triglycerides. So these things are what's important. Good HDL, good triglycerides, getting that body waste, the waste down, so that you're getting rid of that visceral fat, you're getting rid of that subcutaneous fat, you're getting it off of your body that you don't need all that extra, because we're not hibernating. We don't need to be storing all that much. Let's see here. A lot of folks talking to each other in the chat. Oh, somebody's got a question for you, Katie. Meanwhile, Carnivore Brothers said, right there with you, love Topo Chico. I love it too. I love when I get to be with these meetups, because Dr. Kiltz, boy, he really treated us when we were down there in Tampa. He had Topo Chico and one of the other, what is it, Perrier or no, it was San Pellegrino, I think. I love those mineral waters. Just can't afford to buy those all the time. That's why I do a lot of club soda. And I really don't notice that much difference between the mineral waters. I'm adding the minerals, so I don't know that I necessarily need the extra mineral water. I know cost is a big concern for a lot of people. So let's see what Nancy had to say here. Katie, does Dante seem like an entirely different man? I mean, he's not the same guy you married. She actually said sane, and I wasn't sane then either, so I don't know. She was insane to marry me.
He looks completely different. Absolutely, but he's healthy. He's still the same crazy guy I married. But he's definitely, at first I didn't recognize him. And then when he got his hair cut and he went bald, he did that, I was like, who are you? He was so different looking, but in a good way, and I know he's healthy. And that changes his personality for the better. So now he feels better. Now he's not so moody. I would say moody. That's a good word. He wasn't like angry or mean. He was just moody.
I could be when I was drinking.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, you get moody on any day. You just like, no, I don't want to do it. No, I don't want to do this. No, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, okay, fine. But it's different now. He's like, yeah, let's go. You know, I got to go for a walk. And I'm like, I'm not even awake yet. He's like, I'm going for a walk. So it's very different in a good way.
You remember when we like go on vacation and go to the mountains or something like that? One of your favorite things to do is to go hiking.
Just walk through the woods. I love it. Mm-hmm.
And what was my response before this way of eating?
He just sigh. Like,
now I love to get outside and get out and get those walks.
Yep.
You know, I remember when we were at, what was that, Stone Mountain up in Georgia, and I had only been doing this for a few months. And she said, I want to go check out Stone Mountain and see if we can hike to the top. Mm-hmm. I was all down for it. It was fantastic. It was my the only time I think I ever did a Facebook Live, and I broadcasted from the top of Stone Mountain because I was just so happy to be able to get up there, because and to want to get up there, to want to be able to do these things, to have the energy to do all the stuff that I've been able to do over the past few years. When we moved here from Georgia, mm-hmm. I remember loading the truck. I did most of it by myself. Katie helped, but I mean, I don't want her lifting heavy stuff, so I was doing a lot of the heavy lifting. And I remember her commenting, how do you have the energy to do all this? We went to a football game down in Miami, and it was super hot outside. We were there for hours and hours, and I just wanted to participate in everything. And she's like, you just got all kinds of energy. And it's been wonderful having that energy, having the desire to do that. That's one of the things I hate about sometimes doing all this video editing is I want to be outside. I want to go to the spring and go swimming and do stuff like that. But this is the work I've been doing lately. So I've been spending a lot more time working on this, but I love to get out and get it done. That's something that's definitely changed.
I do remember Stone Mountain. We start hiking up the mountain. It gets exhausting. It gets very tiring. It gets very steep. We get halfway there, just a little over halfway there. Dante's frustrated. He's beat. He's discouraged. He says, I don't think I can make it, but I'm going to try. And I said, you can do it. Just let's just sit down from it, because it was tough for me. That was a steep incline at some spots were mm-hmm. really treacherous. So when we just kept going, kept climbing, he gets to the top and he felt so elated. He's like, I can't believe I just hiked that whole thing. I cannot believe it. And that's when he did the live stream. He just felt so encouraged by his health and by his determination that he was able to do it. And I think he used that as a metaphor for the changes that were going on.
I'm not even sure. That might have been before I even put out the first 125 days online diet video. I don't remember for sure. But she mentioned my hair. I do want to cover this because a lot of people ask. I didn't go bald. I was going bald before this way of eating. And if you go back and watch that very first video, 125 days online diet, there's some scenes where like I'm doing the push-ups or where I turn around to look at the food as I'm putting it off the skillet. You can see that I had a bald spot right here. And I used to tell her for years, I said, this is just a cowlick. It's not a bald spot, because I had a bad cowlick when I was a kid. But once I finally saw the difference, when I let my hair grow out during COVID, I said, oh yeah, that's definitely a bald spot, because then I couldn't hide it at all. It was just so obvious with my long hair. And I didn't want to have the long hair permanent. That was just a thing for COVID. And I always said that if I was going to start losing my hair, I used to work with a guy who had this comb over. Not that I'm against anybody doing that, but I just remember thinking, who are you fooling? It's obvious that this is going from here to here. It looks like you painted lines across your head. And I thought to myself, I'm not going to do that. If I start to go bald, rather than having the thing with the U shape on it, I'll just shave it all the way off and be proud of it. But I didn't. And the reason I didn't is I was ashamed of my face. I was ashamed of the way I looked. I was ashamed of the way I felt in that body, that I always felt like if I could just unzip this fat suit that I was in and take it off, I'd feel comfortable. It just didn't feel like it was me, but I was ashamed of it. And once I lost the weight, I said, what am I hiding for? So I just shaved it off. At first I went with the what do you call it, military cut, high and tight for a while, but I still had the bald spot, so I thought, well, I'll just shave it off like I always said I would. And I haven't looked back. I don't mind it. Let's see, Carnivore Brothers said, a lot of the time they don't even know what a seed oil is. Asked if they use seed oils and they say no, but then I asked what kind of oil they use and they check and it's canola oil. Yeah, seed oils. Those are everything. When you look in that aisle where it says canola, and what else is there on there? I don't even know.
Ask them, what's a canola? Like, what is it? What kind of fruit is that? Or what kind of vegetable is that?
Right. What kind of vegetable is that? Well, I don't remember the name. I can't even think of the names of them. I haven't thought about any oils in so long that I can't remember the names of them all right now. But
we got olive oil, cotton. Ooh, almost
well, olive oil is not a seed oil.
No, I know, but sometimes they mix them all together. Like if you can, like I have found olive oil. They say, oh, it's olive oil, but they
put it on the same aisle.
They'll put like a seed oil in it with like a sunflower oil, or I want to say cottonseed is another one.
That's Crisco, cottonseed oil.
But I'm just saying, I've seen olive oil before. It's not olive oil. It has it all mixed in.
Oh, wow. Old guy carnivore Mitch is having a birthday celebration live at 7 p.m. tonight. Come and join us. I'd love to be able to join you, but I do have a 7 p.m. meeting with some people that subscribe to my community carnivore coaching thing that I do on my website, ferrignofreedom.com. So I have a 7 p.m. meeting for that. As a matter of fact, we might want to start moving our live stream here back to 5:30, just because Katie keeps coming in right at the last minute, because our son gets out of school at 4:10 and it takes her about 20 minutes to get here. And that's if he comes straight out after, and she's not always the first in line. So it's really a rush, but we're just trying to make it work. Just like all you guys out there are trying to make it work. I mean, the carnivore lifestyle takes a change in your normal lifestyle. It takes a change of thinking about where you get food, how you're going to get food, where you're going to be, planning ahead, pulling meat out on time so that it'll be defrosted, having meat ready in the refrigerator to go. It does take an effort, but it's worth the effort. It's a lot better than wasting time going to the doctor over and over just to find out they can't do anything for you. Because I spent many hours doing that, many hours going to the doctor, sitting there waiting for them to give me their 15 minutes and then not do anything for me and just charge me another bill. And, you know, when I was the manager or the administrator at the retirement home, we didn't have insurance like most people, because it was a privately owned place and they didn't offer that type of insurance. The closest thing I had was a little Aflac coverage, which that's supposed to be gap insurance, so that didn't really give us much of anything. So you're spending a lot of time and money going to doctors and hospitals, and you're just running in circles. And now, especially the way they have it set up, where you got to go to a specialist for everything, You got to go see your doctor to go see the doctor that can help you, who's going to send you to another doctor who's going to probably help you, or that they say is going to help you because they specialize in something they don't specialize in. And you're just wasting a lot of time with that stuff. Break out of that lifestyle. That's the lifestyle you don't want to get stuck in. That's for sure. Soda stream with the glass bottles is awesome to make your own bubbly water. Yes, I've heard about that. I'd love to be able to get one. I was thankful to at least be able to get our own water purifier, under sink purifier recently, because I got tired of lugging the 5-gallon bottles of Primo that I'd have to go buy 8 or 10 or 12 of every time I went to the store. And that's another part of the lifestyle for a while, but you make changes. But maybe someday I'll go to the soda stream. Actually, I've also looked into options to making your own soda stream device that is a lot less expensive. I just never got around to doing it. When it comes to handiwork, building things like that, that's not been something that I'm very good at, but I try. And sometimes it works out okay, sometimes it doesn't. So when I looked at the cost of getting all that stuff together, I thought, I don't know if I'm up for this challenge, but maybe someday. GeoMod said, thank you for putting yourself out there and inspiring us all. It is a bigger challenge than you might think. It's when you make yourself this public and you have to work for a living, it's made it difficult sometimes when it comes to finding work and getting jobs with places, because the restaurants don't want to know that I'm out there talking about how you should be cooking your food at home, and that you don't need all the sides and you don't need the desserts and you don't need the appetizers and all of those things, that you should just eat meat that feeds your body and stop giving into all these emotional deals. So, that's just one example of how it limits you. And also being forward about faith and politics and things like that turns off a lot of companies, because all of these HR departments are designed to, they just want to find people who are going to be drones and do exactly what they want. And if you're a free thinker, and I obviously do my own thinking about things and I'm vocal about it, it doesn't mean I'm going to be like that in their workplace, but they assume I will be, so it makes it tough. So I appreciate you recognizing that. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys reminding about that, because it does help. It really does help. And right now I'm counting on this channel for most of what's taking care of us. And I don't want to get into all that though. I'd like to let you know that it is tough, and it is a sacrifice that we make, because I live to help people now. I want to see more people healthy and happy. And YouTube makes it an opportunity for us to do that. They don't really, they're not very easy about it. They make the cost, if you're not constantly putting out content, they'll drop you down real quick. And sometimes it's hard to get all that content out when you're trying to handle all of your family and stuff like that. And some of the people that can do it, I don't know how they do it. I have all these different programs that I have to subscribe to, so I can, like Descript, so I can make editing easier, and Ecamm Live costs a certain amount each year, and there's so many little things that get into cost, but it's worth the sacrifice if I can get some things going, and also recommending products that I actually believe in. Things like Redmond salted, I have loved for the 4 years that I've been using it. I know some people say some things about the trace minerals that are in there, but I'm telling you guys, those trace minerals don't make as much of a difference as you think. Just getting the natural earth trace minerals is going to be a much better way to go. Not to mention the flavor is fantastic. I love Redmond salt. All right, Carnivore Brothers have a question for Katie. Not a question, but wanted to update you. I'm going to my 6th, so this is Ashley, my 6th ATA class tonight, and I'm loving it. Making my childhood dreams come true, laugh out loud. So Katie's been doing Taekwondo now for close to a year, and she's been really loving it. And she inspired Ashley to finally take the step to do it, because he wanted to be, what did he call it? Something at 50.
Deadly by 50.
Deadly by 50. I was thinking it was fierce by 50. Either way, it works, because he's in his 40s right now, and he wants to make sure that he's got that strength. got that agility and that energy. And I'm so glad you're doing that, Ashley.
Ashley, you should make a note or a mental note, or if you have a journal or anything, as you do this way of eating, how you feel now when you first start, and then 6 months from now when you go in again to your 6-month class, how you feel then. Because I used to go in exhausted, tired, end of the day, and I'm like, what? I got to work out the end of the day, and I would just have to push so hard to get through it. And although I've changed my diet a lot since then, I've noticed now after a year later going in like, I can do this. I'm ready to go. I have more endurance. I can actually do, I think I did 12 push-ups, which is a lot for me because I've always had really weak upper body strength. So I was happy if I did 5 or 8. I was up to 12 last night. I was very happy about that. Just the little things. But yeah, just make a mental note of how you feel now and then 6 months later, and how you improve on it, because it's encouraging.
Joshua Bellinger said, I started a carnivore group text with 4 church buddies a month ago. We have 8 guys doing carnivore now, encouraging each other.
That's
Excited
awesome.
for sure. Yep.
It's awesome.
It's amazing. I have run into so many people who tell me that they're bringing people in left and right, that they don't have YouTube channels. They're just talking to their friends or letting their friends ask them, what's happening to you? Because it's obvious once you start doing this that you're going to have those changes, and people want to know.
So we were driving. I think it was coming home from Yuma, Tennessee, and I went into this. It's a gas station, but they made food there, like breakfast sandwiches, eggs, bacon, and hamburgers.
Buc-ee's, right?
No, it wasn't a Buc-ee's. This was just I said, I'm hungry and have to go to the bathroom.
Oh, yeah, I remember. That was in Alabama.
Yeah, so we stopped. I said, just pull in right there. It says burgers. I go in there, and the guy's, okay, what do you want? I said, I want 2 beef patties and about 4 pieces of bacon right on top of the beef patties. That's all I want. He's like, that's all you want? I said, yep. And the guy standing next to me was like, eating that all meat diet? I said, you mean the carnivore diet? He said, yep, that's it. My buddy wants me to get on it with him. I said, you should do it. You should try it. Absolutely 100%. He goes, well, I drive truck. He said, I drive truck. So, and I go, what am I doing? You're standing in the same line I'm standing in, and I'm getting carnivore food, beef patties and bacon. Add an egg to that. There you go. There's your lunch or your breakfast or your dinner. So, I know some people still see it like a bothersome chore, because it is a little bit to change your routine, to change your pattern, to change your life. It's a bothersome chore at first. But just like everything else, once you start doing it and once you get going, you realize it's worth it. And it wasn't really that big of a deal in the beginning. So
taking control of your health takes discipline. And I wasn't raised with enough discipline. I've had to learn to discipline myself. And I gotta say that the carnivore way of eating has helped me to be more disciplined in so many other areas, not just in eating, but disciplined in the things that I put into my mind, disciplined about exercise. There's a lot of things that it helps with when it comes to that. Did you see something there?
I was just checking.
Oh, here's a question. James Van Order, how do I get my wife on board? She has gluten intolerance. I'm only 2.5 weeks in, but love it. I can't get her to even watch a video. Well,
cognitive dissonance. Sometimes we just don't want to hear it. Sometimes it's from the person who's saying it. We just get frustrated, or they're not ready yet. It's just like anything else. They're not ready yet. They're not sick enough. They're not at the end of the rope, or they're just happy where they're at. They're happy eating what they want to eat because it's what they want to do. It's stubbornness. It's 100% me. 100% me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't care. I wasn't sick. I didn't have all the issues Dante had. I wasn't eating unhealthy in my mind. I wasn't eating a whole bunch of bread, a whole bunch of sugar. So I didn't feel the need for it until I hit 41 and started to hurt all over. And that's when I knew then what the answer was, because I've been living with it for 4 years. So some people just don't want to do it. But, you know, if you're pray and be the example and let them be, that's all you can do. Pray,
Yeah.
be the example, and let them be. Because when that time comes, they're going to know exactly who to ask. That's what I had to do. As soon as I told Dante, all right, I'm ready to try it. He was making my eggs that morning, handed me my cup of coffee with eggs and said, here, get started. Then I'd be out and hey, I'm coming home. Are you hungry? I'll make you some food right now. He was 100% supportive and provided that help that I needed to get through it. So I think that's just a hard reality sometimes.
Yeah, James, just stick with it and be the example. Try not to pound it into her head or anything like that. It's going to take time. As you're watching the videos, I'm sure she'll see something eventually. And then also, you know, you could mention, well, there's no gluten in meat. So if you have a gluten intolerance, that's going to help too.
Yeah, that makes sense. If I had a gluten intolerance, it would make more sense for me to go high protein, high meat, high fat. So
my bald father used to say, God made a few perfect heads. On the rest, he hid them with hair. Cow lick funny. Now you're licking the cow. Oh man, I'm eating the cow. Oh yeah, rapeseed oil. That was one of them. Corn oil, safflower oil, grapeseed oil, peanut oil. Boy, everybody, we're a little behind in the chat, so we're getting caught up. Avocado, I've heard is, you know, it's okay, but I avoid everything that's vegetable. I don't do olive oil or avocado, but there's a lot of folks that do, and Dr. Berry will even say that they're okay, but it's like moderation problem. That's the thing that I have most of the time with anything that has any carbohydrates in it of any kind, or anything that's like fruits. I can't moderate the amount because I have an addiction to sugar. Like any other addiction, you can't do a little bit of cocaine. You know, if you got an addiction to it, you're going to do a little and it's going to take you far. So, and that's not true for everybody, but that, you know, not everybody is necessarily addicted. But I think there's a lot of folks out there who are addicted and don't realize they're addicted, because these food companies work very hard to make sure that you're addicted to their food. They make it to where it not only causes you to crave it, but it causes you to have the pain that makes you feel like you need comfort.
You can't always blame the drug dealer. You know what I mean? You can't just say it's the food company, although a lot of it is. But it's also human nature, because you want it. That's the sad reality, right? You want it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you also don't want to change, and you get used to the simplicity of all the ready-made foods, and you just pour it in and it's ready to go. You don't have to do any preparation. Although making steak really doesn't take that much
No, it
difficulty.
doesn't.
That's another
With
thing.
an air fryer, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Susan had asked, is it as good as drinking mineral water, sparkling water? I'm assuming she's asking about club soda. I would say, or seltzer water. But when I add salt, I mean, you're getting minerals. The minerals are in there. So you don't, there's some people that can do this without salt, but I encourage most people to make sure you're getting enough salt, especially if you're having any lethargic feeling or feeling more tired. I know I have a hard time making sure Katie has plenty of salt because she doesn't do it like I do. Matter of fact, I made this for her because I wanted her to have her own bottle before we got started. So, because I knew she was going to come home exhausted after all she's done today. Excuse me. Let's see, any other questions here?
These lights sometimes bother my eyes. People probably think I'm going crazy, but my eyes get bothered by them. I think it's just because they're right in my eye.
Yeah, well, I try to get them with those soft covers so they're not so bad.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm like blinking, scratch my eyes, do it every time I'm on here. Just I have to wear sunglasses when I drive too because the sun will bother my eyes.
Richard Bichelle said, "You're a big part of why I'm doing carnivore. I had psoriatic arthritis and psoriasis. I spoke to a guy named Lash on a carnivore conversation about a month ago, and man, I never saw anything as bad as what he was dealing with. I'd never known anybody with psoriasis that was. I don't think I ever knew anybody with psoriasis, but I mean, it was an awful thing that he had to deal with. I mean, it just looked like his legs were covered in scales and bleeding, and
So sad.
it's gone.
Yeah,
It's
but
gone.
happy.
So he went lion diet and changed his life. Literally saved his life. He was ready to take his life. He was so miserable with what the doctors were putting him through and what the illness was putting him through.
We had a couple residents with it. They said it was like, some people said they couldn't feel it. Some people said it was the most uncomfortable thing. So, but I just can't imagine it being all over as bad as his was.
Uh-oh. Caprice Hockstead says, "Have you checked your Amazon parcel locker lately? Something there for Katie." I try to check it every couple of weeks. There's usually nothing in there, but I'll definitely have to go by there tomorrow and check it out.
Oh my goodness, thank you. Can't wait. Should I wait till Wednesday to open it?
Yeah, we could do it during the live stream. That would be fun. Hopefully you'll be here for that, Caprice.
Dangerous by 50. What did I say? Deadly?
Deadly.
I said deadly by 50. Dangerous by 50. That's my goal. I'm 41. I turned 42 in September. I want to be dangerous by 50. I want to live up to that 100%. As a matter of fact, as soon as I get off of here with you, I'm getting changed and I'm going for a private taekwondo session for 1 hour to train. That's not Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. I'm going for a separate private session to get some training in, especially core training and leg training, or leg what's it called when you work on your legs? There was something special.
Leg day?
It. Yeah, it's leg day. That's it. It's core day and leg day.
Unretired Carnivore. That's a new name I haven't seen. Good afternoon. It's nice to have you here. Nancy says that her kids have black belts in Taekwondo.
Woo!
Huge respect for you. Our youngest earned his black belt.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it's so fun. It's frustrating. It's sometimes overwhelming. But being able to get to the other side, it's just like Dante climbing up that mountain. Just like Dante climbing up that rock. You get halfway there and you want to give up. You want to go back down. You're done. You're over. And then when you push yourself and you do it, you're like, okay, I can do it. And then you get that big boost of adrenaline and what's that? I can't think of anything today. When you like...
Dopamine.
Dopamine, yes. You get a big boost and shot of dopamine in you because you did it and you feel so good.
Dopamine's your habit creator too. It's not supposed to be a bad thing to get some dopamine. It's just how you get your dopamine. If you're getting it from drugs and things like that boost your dopamine, then it enforces that habit. So then you get stuck having to do that thing over and over. But if you're getting a dopamine boost from something that's making your body healthier, that just means you're forming that good habit. Nancy has a question. Do you ever get done with the live stream and then worry that you shared too much with the world? Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's something I talked about earlier. It makes it difficult because it limits my options. But it is what it is. I'm here now. I've been talking about it now for 4 years, and I'm not just going to shut it all down. I have a big belief in don't quit. And I have faith in God that he's going to bring us through this. So let's see here. My husband has rheumatoid arthritis. He continues to practice martial arts and can walk at 72, so much better than his mother did. He also eats mostly meat with me. The knee pain is barely there.
That's it for me too. It was my knees and my wrist. So 100%, 72. That's awesome. That's... That's what I want to do. That's what I want to be. 72 and still doing it.
I've heard about a lot of people with knee issues being able to avoid getting surgery and things like that because of going carnivore. Amy Hosp is one that was a great example. She was pretty much confined to a wheelchair before a carnivore diet, and now she doesn't need it at all. She talks about how proud she is to have it in storage and not have to see it anymore. So, yeah, for people that are having difficulty walking, this has made a lot of change for people. I've had several other people I've interviewed on the channel that have been able to regain their ability to walk because of a carnivore diet.
It's amazing.
Beck says, I've made the switch to ketovore, but I'm struggling to quit dairy, specifically yogurt. Any advice? Well, the one thing about yogurt they always say is that it's got good bacteria in it, but most of that yogurt, almost all of it, is pasteurized, which means that they've already cooked out anything that's in there, so they've already killed that bacteria. You might think it's doing something for you, but unless it's unpasteurized, you're not really getting the benefit that you're looking for. And it definitely would lead you to want more dairy. And dairy has a lot of sugar in it. Some people don't do well with dairy, even if you get the sugar out of it. If you take like heavy cream, which doesn't have as much, or you churn it into butter, which even gets rid of more, you still have a little bit of casein in there and a little bit of lactose, and that can keep you going. That can keep you wanting more. I remember there was a comedian that talked about as he was walking out of his doctor, the doctor said, "Oh yeah, lay off dairy." He said, "What? Well, why don't you just punch me in the face as I'm walking out the door?" And then he would talk about walking around the grocery store and the shopping carts, and he sees everybody over there in the dairy section, and they all have party hats on, and I'm just over here in the fruit section or something. And, you know, he wasn't carnivore, but I always think about that when people bring up dairy.
Brian Regan.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got a couple minutes left. Let me make sure I don't miss any questions here. Tom Vigil. I've been carnivore for 22 months now and lost 90 pounds. I stopped losing at 13 months. Any suggestions? Well,
Keep going.
Yeah, I guess well, that's, 9 months later and he hasn't lost any more. The only thing I can say is maybe try to make sure you're not getting too much protein and getting a little more fat, because the fat is not going to affect your blood sugar levels as much as the protein will. And that's something that's often missing with people.
For the person who had the yogurt thing, how it's hard to come off of, I wonder if it because of not only texture, because it's different than meat and it feels like a treat. You know, yogurt to me, if I had that now, it would almost be like ice cream, because that's my Achilles heel. It's chocolate ice cream. So I haven't tried yogurt, but I know if I did, I would probably want more of it too, because it would be my substitute for that. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know when it comes to telling people how to wean themselves off something. That's very hard for Dante. For me, it's very hard to do because I know how I struggle with things. So you have to do it at your own pace. Maybe less of a bowl than what you normally do, if you can. And then do a smaller bowl and a smaller bowl, and try to get to where you're just doing a spoonful, maybe a spoonful a day instead of a bowl a day. But that's hard, some prayers with you on that one, because it's really hard to talk yourself down when you're enjoying it so much.
Thomas from Target Prime Rib joined us. He says he's a little late to the party, but we're still glad you're here, brother. Yep, Paula, you spelled it right. Dante.
That crazy guy, Dante.
Do you guys do parasite cleanse? Closest thing I did to a parasite cleanse was probably taking 10 days of ivermectin. I haven't done anything else like that.
I haven't, but I've wanted to. I just haven't done it yet.
Just scrolling through the rest of these. I don't see any more questions. I did have one question on the YouTube channel that came a few days ago, and there's a video coming out tonight about it. It was related to the video I put out about the Dreo Chef Maker versus the Tasty. They asked me, do you use the Typher anymore? I bought one after seeing one of your videos. Thanks. I actually just got the Typher Dome 2 sent to me by Typher, and I tried it out, and I really liked it. It's got some unique features. So that video launched about a minute ago. So if you're interested in knowing about the Typher Dome air fryer, the Typher Dome Series 2, you can check that out when we're done here, which is pretty much where we're at. Because I know Katie's got to get going for her class, and I got to get ready for the meeting tonight with my group on Ferrigno Freedom. So I thank you guys for joining us once again. Did you find something?
So Nancy said eat some butter, maybe to curb the appetite. I'm assuming that's for the yogurt. I hope so. And then this one is, what is your suggestion on visiting with family members that don't eat? I'm sorry, I just said that don't eat.
Don't eat carnivore.
There you go.
And you're in their house. What do you do to stay on track?
Bring your own stuff. And you be very polite. This is how I tell Dante, because Dante used to beat himself up so bad when we went over to my family's house. He'd be like, oh, what am I going to do? And then I don't want to be rude and I don't want to be mean. And I'm like, calm your butt down, bring your own food, and be very polite. We have a big Italian family. If you're doing something for your health, they should encourage you and love you no matter what you're doing. They might joke with you and play around and have fun, but you do what you have to do for your health. And you can't be concerned or worried what other people think. And they're your loved ones, so they should be encouraging you.
Absolutely. And there's also times where I've just decided I would eat before I go so that I'd be full, because I can go, for a whole day without eating after eating a good meal. So that helps too.
And you'd be upset though, because then everyone else would be eating and you'd be standing.
That's true.
So there's a lot of emotions that get attached to it. So it is best to bring your food, either something you can cook so you can be in the kitchen with family. Like I said, we have an Italian family. Everyone's in the kitchen for at least 2 hours talking or passing through. So bring something you can cook in the kitchen to show everybody, oh, this is my steak. Would you like a piece? Your brother or sister, whatever, I'll let you try some of my steak. It's really good. I make it a certain way. Talk to them about it, but you're still engaging with family, but you're not being religious about it. I think that's a good way to say it, right?
Well, I'm not trying to make a big thing about it. I don't,
right.
Because, they're there to have a good time, and I'm not there to try to teach them about their diet. If they're interested and they've noticed the changes, I let them ask me, and then I'm glad to talk about it.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Well, that about wraps it up for today, guys. We thank you so much for being here once again, and we hope to see you again next week. I'm sorry, I saw questions come up, but it wasn't a question, so I was going to answer it. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. We'll see you the next time.
If we pay extra, could we maybe get some grease or fat?